welcome back. We have a lot to talk about, and I'm probably going to be disorganized. I'm still finding my way with whatever the messages are that want to come through these days on this channel, so please bear with me. But I promise if you stick it out in this video, you will walk away with something useful in the chaos that we are currently experiencing. So, my name's Nakaya. I did take quite some time off from the channel, and I imagine if we get into that conversation, a lot of you could relate. What I would like to talk about or respond to are the themes in some of the conversations with some of my friends recently. So, there's a lot happening in the world. A lot in the news, and if you just pluck a news headline from whatever news sources you are tapped into and care about, you can apply your responses to what I'm going to share this evening. And I'm just going to take a breath because there really is a lot in my mind, and I would like to help women in particular and anyone who is sensitive to what is showing up in the world and revealing itself these days. I would like to offer you some tools that you can use and apply. Some may cost you money, and others will be free to you. And the reason why I'm inspired to say that is because I'm also tuned into a number of communities of women in particular who have left the country. They've either left the country or they have withdrawn from society. And so I get a lot of headlines on my YouTube feed. That's where I primarily spend my time searching and scrolling these days. I get a lot of videos flashing up about how to leave the country. And I do live in the United States of America at this time. And maybe in a future conversation, we can talk more about that because I've been thinking about that a lot. But as I was reflecting on a conversation that I had with a friend today, I realized that not everybody can, I wrote it down, GTFO, because I'd really like to say the words out loud, but I thought I would just abbreviate it or just give it the initials. For those of you who maybe you're not ready for what my mouth can do when I'm moving some energy in that way. I do enjoy a good curse word, let me just say it that way. But if you think on it a minute, GTFO, there are many of us who cannot. We cannot just pick up and leave. And maybe the idea of even planning our exit strategy, you'll see those headlines, that is even not going to happen. It's not a possibility for a number of reasons, for a number of people, for a number of reasons. Financial is the obvious one, but there are people who they have family ties that they're not willing to break or not able to break. There's just a lot of reasons for why leaving the country is not actually a real option for a lot of people. So what do we do for those of us who are here and confronted with what is happening in this country? I don't know, moment by moment, second by second, day by day. It feels like an avalanche and a snowball. And the fiery pits of hell and drowning and suffocating for air and all of the things. You fill in the blanks. You don't need me to tell you how it feels. What I am doing right now is acknowledging that we are feeling what we're feeling and thinking what we're thinking. And I wrote notes, honestly, because I'm still a little frazzled, nervous, something, talking to the camera. So I wrote words down so that I can focus. Something that I want to tell you about, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to me, I started my professional life as a somatic therapist. That is where I began in my early 20s. And so my mind, my response spends a lot of time around how does the body respond to what is being presented to it? What does it mean to be embodied? And how do we care for our body so that our body can care for us as we're moving through life? So I spend a lot of time thinking about therapeutics and physical health in perhaps in service to spirit. And I say it that way because I feel like the body is not just in service to spirit. I feel like the body has its own reasons for being, so I don't want to restrict it just to being in service to spirit. But my relationship with spirit is very important, and I encourage other people to remember that we are also we are spirit first. And I think that perhaps part of what is happening in terms of our inner turmoil and what is happening exteriorly is that we are being given the opportunity to remember that we are more than just what can be externally identified. I'll leave it there because I'll go off on some abstract tangent further, and I don't want to do that. So if you are someone who cannot get the fuck out, this message is really for you. And I'm sorry it took me so long, and I'm not going to be able to edit it because I don't do that. I don't do that right now. But what I want you to know is one of my sayings, mottos over the years has been use your tools. And the tools that I typically mean are the tools that take care of our sanity, our physical body, our spiritual health and well-being. And please allow these pauses, because the pauses are important. We being in, I've been working on naming things as Western culture, but I'm going to go ahead and say that. And if you disagree with me, please share your thoughts in the comments. So many thoughts. But I'm going to go ahead and speak from that place. The pauses are important. They're very important because they give us room to breathe. And I want you guys to go metaphorically with me as well as literal. I am speaking literally. And so much of what I say literally, it serves the metaphor. It serves the spirit of things. So when we allow ourselves to pause, and when we allow other people to pause, we make room. We make room for something that we cannot control, which is whatever that third thing, a middle way possibility. This middle way idea is on my spirit so much lately. Another conversation. I and so many people that I know can really get caught up in thinking. The mind is an amazing place and a terrifying place to be. And a lot of our culture is programmed to be on rapid speed, which does not give us the opportunity to feel, to think deeper thoughts, to respond rather than reacting. All things that we need right now. We need deeper thinking. We need responsiveness, and we need spaciousness in at least some of our responses. So I'm asking you to give me the space to speak more slowly to you in these videos. We can come out of the time of rapid, immediate gratification. We can come out of that now. We've spent enough time in that space. There are moments in our lives when we need an immediate, rapid response. I am going to challenge us to experiment with the idea and possibility that these times may not be times where we need to be in chronic reactivity. We need to develop responsible capacity for these times. And that may mean you take just 2 minutes to handle a situation instead of 30 seconds that you might be used to. You decide what that is, but I'm just planting that seed. I'm offering that possibility to you. What that does for me is it allows me to not feel so nervous, and it allows me to offer a quality of resonance for you that I would like to be able to offer. Some point of stillness so that you can find your own calibration. And if I'm so concerned about being rushed in my conversation with you, I'm not able to be a point of stillness for you. So I'm just asking you, just hang out with me when I pause. The pauses are meaningful. And they give your mind a moment to catch up with whatever it is I might be saying, whether you agree with it or not. I really am asking us to take more time with our thoughts and our feelings, but our thinking capacity. Okay, that's enough of that. So use your tools. So if you're not able to escape the matrix, the country, your job, whatever it is that you might fantasize about taking a break from, there are resources available to you. And I'm just going to name a few of them. This is just a tiny, tiny possibility of what you could do. So as a body worker, I spent a lot of time working with the nervous system. And activities that slow you down and give you the opportunity to feel and hear and see, maybe even smell, but like have a sensory experience of what is happening in your world. And the body is part of your world. Now, I understand that this may be uncomfortable for many of us. I understand this. And you need to make choices for yourself on how you proceed, how you engage or don't engage. You need to take responsibility for that. I can't do that for you. What I'm offering are options and the encouragement to explore and experiment with your own capacity and your own resources, what's available to you. So, Yin Yoga. You know, we had a period of time where hot yoga was the thing. And hot yoga has its place. And what I'm doing right now is I recognize that yin environments are not always conducive when we need to take action. But what yin environments do for us, one of many, many things that they do, and yin environment being watery, dark, we could say cold, slow, it's like the void space, and I will be abstract in that. Yin is receptive. That's really what I'm encouraging places of safety. And again, these are decisions for you to make about what that means to you. What is a place of safety to you? That allow you to be receptive to internal guidance, internal knowledge, internal awareness, internal feedback. Internal is coming from inside you, your knowing, your guide, your intelligence, your wisdom, ancestral, God, angelic, elemental, your relationship with what that internal landscape and language is. When we create the space in our lives for that receptivity, that becomes an anchor. And if you need an anchor right now, a Yin Yoga practice can be helpful. Now, I could also say running. If you feel like you need to be active, running, walking, dancing. But I'm gonna suggest that these particular activities, they're solo activities for you and you, your relationship with you. So, especially with Yin practices, I'm not encouraging us to go into spaces that are full of external stimulation, other people's conversation, other people's music, things like this. This particular, find places and resources that are quiet, that you can hear you. I know that I really struggle to be like cut and dry, like you have to do this, because I don't actually know what you have to do. I don't actually know what you have to do, and I don't actually know what your capacity is. And still, I am going to trust that you have the capacity to sit with yourself on occasion throughout the week, because it really is an anchor. Okay, I'm going to stop with that. So Yin Yoga, and there's a lot of bad Yin Yoga out there. There's a lot of Yin Yoga that's really Hatha Yoga, maybe slowed down a little bit. Do some research on what Yin Yoga is, and look for some people who really understand how to help you hold a pose. And I'll come back in another video. I'll make a note to come back and talk about that, because I have opinions, guys. I have opinions, and I'm trying not to throw them all at you. I wrote a note down here about fire hosing. Because I can definitely do that. I got a lot of stuff up here in my brain. Okay, moving on. Fascial therapy. So the thing about the body is it's an amazing, whatever this thing is, amazing. And our bodies are largely water. Water holds memory. If you have not already spent some time with Vida Austin's work, I'll see if I can actually make some show notes. Or Veda Austin. There's also a woman who has a company called Water is Life. If you do a Google search, you'll find these. I do not remember the name of the woman who does Water is Life. She teaches on the esoteric and like biological, chemical nature of water. Vida Austin does amazing photography with water and memory, and how water communicates thoughts and ideas. Phenomenal work. This body that we walk around in, mostly water. And this body holds memory. It holds emotion. So a lot of what I'm going to be talking about today is encouraging you to find practices that help you care for the body and move energy. So there is this experience of holy rage in our collective right now. And it's not new. Holy rage is not new. Holy rage has like wind swept through cultures and countries and communities for probably before history was written down. I am a woman, and I relate to stories that women hold. And so the rage that's moving through around some of these news cycles that we have is bringing up a lot of holy rage. I call it holy rage. I call it holy rage because it is holy rage. When things happen that should not be happening, whatever they are, the natural spirit response is rage and a not on my watchness. When women get taken down by this rage and are not able to channel this rage into the other things that it can be, I wrote notes. I was speaking with a friend and listening to this person express what she has been feeling. Holy rage is life-affirming. It is self-affirming. It is self-regenerative. It is regenerative. It is a fire that is running through the human spirit and taking out, clearing out what does not belong. We, for the good of all, must learn to channel that energy. I'm not saying rush out of it, but I am saying do not let that consume you. Do not let that burn out your creative capacity, your creative expression, because our creative capacity and our creative expression is what will change what needs to be changed. Feeling the rage and I don't know what this part is. I don't know what this part is, the part of letting it move through us as a creative force, as a generative force, not a destructive force, because what can happen with rage, with women especially, and it has again and again and again, is this: we do not want our rage to become a further extension of the man-made harm that has been done to the feminine, to women, and to everything of the natural world, including the masculine and men and everybody, everywhere in the human story in between. I'm just going to say this. I'm not excluding people, but I do not feel a need to go in and pick up all the pieces of humanity. We're all in this circle. So for this conversation, I don't want to have to call out gender dynamics and sexual orientation. It's not necessary. We are all in this. And when rage is only allowed to be destruction, the people, the beings who are destroyed are often women, the feminine, and the natural world, and the feminine existing in men. And what does the feminine mean? I think I'm going to have to put a pin in that and make that part of the conversation. I am focused on women and the feminine right now because there's so much that's happening that's impacting that perspective on life, families, etc. Okay. So finding a therapist who works with the fascia could be very, very beneficial to you. Now, these things cost money. You can look up on YouTube and find Yin Yoga. There are some good teachers on YouTube, Yin Yoga teachers. Fascial therapy I do have a resource for that. There's a channel called Stop Chasing Pain, and he does a fantastic job of teaching us how to exercise and work with our own bodies to eliminate and reduce pain. So you can go check him out. I also want to talk about energy medicine. So Reiki, acupuncture, acupressure. Chances are good you have somebody within walking or driving distance who offers one of these kinds of services. Again, you can go to YouTube for the Yin Yoga and the fascial body work applied to yourself. There are therapists who do amazing myofascial work. I wrote Thai yoga as one of the resources. They also do some deep work with the fascial connective tissue. So you will have to go find people in your community. Sometimes people have sliding scales. Sometimes people don't. It's full price. In another video, we can talk about the importance of paying people for the expertise that they share with us. But, you know, go do some research. See if you can find some folks. You might be someone who can trade something for some of these services. And these are not the only services. I am just giving you ideas that you can go and investigate and perhaps find something completely different. You see how I need to take space? Like I can start to speak a little too quickly. Okay. I also want to talk about one other thing. There is a company in Hawaii called Pohala, and the person who owns it or started it, founded it, his name is Keone, I believe. I can see his face. I'm on his mailing list. I have participated in some of the amazing, beautiful classes that he offers. What I would like you to know, first of all, if you look up Pohala, Pohala, I think. I'll see if I can get show notes for this. He also works with fern medicine. And for those of you who are familiar with flower essences, the fern essences are ferns. He will feature, and he's got quite a selection of ferns that are treated like flower essences. It's just the essence of the fern. We can talk about that in another video. But again, you can also do your own research. Look up flower essences, and you'll get an understanding of what those are, how they're made, and what they can be useful in helping with. And then you can look up Pohala and look up the fern of this year, the fern of 2026. He calls it the fern of chaos. And so it's available for purchase. I find it incredibly helpful reading about it, like just reading about it has an energetic communication to it. So again, if it's not something you can afford to buy, you can visit the website and read about it. It is what is up for us this year. It is what is up for us this year. And yeah, I do laugh about it. I do chuckle at things. Because that is also appropriate. And I know that probably stings quite a few people to hear that. Our sense of humor, keeping a sense of humor, super necessary. Super necessary. Because things are dark and heavy, violent, traumatic, awful. And humor is something that, if we want to just speak physiologically, it releases hormones in the body that reduce stress and a whole bunch of other things. So comedy shows, this is where our friends come in. Jokes, humor, laughter, necessary, very, very necessary. Okay, so holy rage. Holy rage is a feral, undomesticatable fire. A feral, undomesticatable fire. It is not meant to be domesticated. We're not meant to live in it forever either. This is where the turning it into something generative. And we're all individuals. We all have different entry points into what is happening, into the changes that are happening in the world and in our country and in our personal lives. So I can't tell you what your generative response will be. I can just tell you that you have one, and you need to figure out what that is, because we need you. Okay, I'm going to stop with that. The last suggestion and request that I have is that for those of us who live in the United States of America, and there is a reason why I say USA so often rather than just US, and maybe in other conversations we can talk about that. But we really, really need to spend time reading our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, the founding documents of our nation. We really need to spend time reading these documents and thinking about them and making our own sense of them. When I realized, and I've been wanting to say this for years, it's a whole nother conversation, but when it came in this afternoon, I realized I would like to encourage us to read our Constitution and spend time with the preamble of the Constitution. But I'd like us to do that the way that we might spend time with our Bible or the I Ching or a tarot deck, like if that's what you're into. And I'm just going to leave it like that. Whatever spiritual practice you may have and whatever spiritual books you may spend time with, I am asking us, especially if we are part of this nation, that we spend time with the founding documents of this nation, especially this year. And the preamble starts with "we the people." Having an understanding and having a personal understanding of what "we the people" means and what it was intended to mean, super important for us right now. So that's my big ask. That is my specific ask. My specific ask there is please, please, please find yourself a copy of the full Constitution. Look how thin that is, guys. That's nothing. Now, I have had this for a little while, and I have been reading the Constitution again for the past few years, and I have to read it over and over and over again. There's a lot that's still, it's not sticking, but I'm getting better at it. And I'm developing my own relationship with it. And we need that. We need to do that. And if you don't know, this year is the 250th anniversary of this country coming into form.